Welcome, Queen. Did you bring in the new year with Mr. Potential? Well, first of all, I hope New Year's Day went your way. Now, as it relates to potential, when we go to our Webster's dictionary and we look up the word potential, the first thing it tells us to do is see potent. And when we go to potent, it tells us having authority or power. And the second thing it tells us is convincing. Convincing. Hold on to that. Because when we go back to potential, it tells us can come into being, possible, latent, something potential. Now, when we think about the man that we're dating, when we think about the man that we're with, when we think about the man that we're interested in, when the clock struck 12 and we were with him, if all we thought was he sure is a great guy, he sure does have potential, then we have an issue because that's the only thing we thought. Now, having potential is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be good. But again, if that's all we thought he had, we have an issue. Because just because he has the potential doesn't mean something is going to come from it. Now, if you say to yourself, well, I'm not quite sure if all he has is potential, then what you need to do is continue to date him. Continue to date him, to continue to get to know him, to continue to get to see the type of man that he is. Now, if on the other hand, you've been dating him for some months or maybe even for a few years and you find yourself frustrated, you find yourself wondering, when is something going to happen? If you find yourself listening to convincing stories month after month or maybe year after year about how he plans to do this and how he plans to do that, how he intends to do this and how he intends to do that, and yet nothing ever comes of his plans or his intentions, then you have an issue because, again, he has potential, but there is no evidence, there is no proof, there is no verification that he's doing the work to become. So as the CEO of your life, Queen, you have to then ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to invest with the man who simply has potential? Because if you continue to wait and wait and wait, you can find yourself extremely frustrated waiting with the expectation of something of more that's going to happen. And when the more does not happen, you once again find yourself frustrated. But that's by choice. So again, I encourage you to evaluate whether or not this man is simply telling you convincing stories. Because sometimes the story can be so convincing that we want to believe it. But again, that's a choice that we don't have to make. Because please understand, having potential is not to become. And having a New Year's resolution doesn't guarantee change. For you to have change, you must decide the time for change is now and execute a plan for that change to happen. Else you run the risk of loving the potential that change could bring, yet living your life in seasons of repeat with a person going nowhere. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you, 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours you could change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.